Craig and Jane Hamilton Parker are a husband and wife mediumistic team. Together with their community of helpers, they run the Hamilton Parker Foundation. The foundation broadcasts programs about human values, the future of humankind, universal spirituality, and teaches unity within diversity. We have a system in place that allows us to talk to and take questions from people all over the world. We make pre-recorded shows, but we also have regular live shows. Our mission is to show the common spiritual values that run through all faiths and cultures. And of course, we also have many guests who want to share their spiritual and religious ideas with us. Here's a few clips from our shows. So Ramakrishna, he was a pretty amazing guy, first of all, his teacher, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a saint, if you like. He was a saint. We believe, those of us who are his devotees, who have taken initiation, we believe that he was an avatar, or avatar, as we say in India. And that means that we believe he was God incarnate as man. That is actually what an avatar is.
Yeah.
So God comes down in the form of man to teach us, to bring us into the new learnings, if you like.
So they're pre-enlightened, really.
Indeed.
Oven-ready enlightenment.
Yeah, indeed. And if you're a Christian, you would know that Jesus Christ came and fulfilled the Old Testament to the New. So I think of Christ as well as being an avatar. And being a Hindu, we accept and believe in all religious leaders and all religions because we are told that different paths lead to the same one.
So let's have a little chat, Jane, a little bit about what we are trying to do with this spiritual centre, because those that have come to the show know that with what we're trying to do, we're trying to raise enough funds first to keep this studio going, because this is all coming from the patrons. This is all your donations that's helping us to keep this studio going. And if you like the show, you give a little donation. And also, we're trying to take it to the next stage. We're trying to become a full spiritual centre. So I'd be interested to know what you'd like to share with us, what your vision is of it is.
My level, when it's be done beautiful, I have a dream, for example, Craig, just an example, of having like a meditation room, and in the centre of the meditation room, a beautiful crystal fountain with cushions around, and possibly lovely Indian music and lovely night lights, so it gets us all into a deep meditative state and be very beautiful. And then the next room, Craig and I can demonstrate, and perhaps another room where I have healers in that can help people. And another room, obviously, we'd like to feed people as well, and make it really, really beautiful. That's my vision, Craig.
Jane and I are very well known as television clairvoyants. We got started when Bob Geldof invited us to do a weekly psychic show on The Big Breakfast with his wife, Paula Yates. The show was massively popular. The medium Doris Stokes brought Jane and I together and also helped us get started with our mediumship. We went on to work on the BBC and other television programmes around the world, including a major programme about Princess Diana. Our good reputation is one of the means we use to raise funds for the foundation.
Both these people, everything they said about the stuff they talked about, they were accurate. They are the real deal, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm not a mind blower, by nature, but it was real. And all crap aside, it was real.
Well, I suppose I wasn't really quite sure what to expect when I came. It was different.
It was interesting to me to find out that Diana came across so strongly as knowing what I was doing. And that came across very clearly in what she said to me.
I found it terribly hard to relate the Diana I knew to being a spirit. And I used to see her regularly, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes twice a day. And I'm a shocking cynic, but I did feel something during that. And there were 1 or 2 things that came out which only Diana and I perhaps knew.
It was very interesting though, and it was very nice to see how everybody else was going, hey, yeah, wow. That was kind of cool that happened too, because nobody had any idea who was who and what was what, so there's nothing set up, and we knew nothing that was going to happen next. So.
Oh, I found it fascinating.
Certainly the questions that were being put to us, or the comments that were made to us. If your memory was 100%, you could remember every one of those occasions that he spoke about, you know, right down to the nitty-gritty in the kitchens with the children. It all made sense, you know.
And the pear drops were definitely something. I mean, we used to buy them specially and have them in the office so that she could have them whenever she wanted them. And it was always, don't tell anybody, I'm not supposed to have these, you know. So that was fantastic. I actually blew my mind.
During the last reading, I did sort of feel some kind of connection with Craig, and it sort of brought back memories, and quite strong emotional memories about Peter and the time we were together.
Well, I can only say, I mean, I'm an East End MP, and the docks are associated with the East End, and of course my parents came here across the sea from the Caribbean.
Now, again, he picked up on writing, communicating, which is your career before Parliament, of course. Did you ever meet Princess Di?
Oh, yeah, I've met her on a number of occasions.
And when you cook, do you stick a bit of Caribbean fruit in it?
Oh, yeah.
Right,
And
so
I
that
love
was a
to
very
cook.
specific one to pick up
It
on.
wasn't bad at all.
Do our private readings, and they are, to be honest, they are exhausting to do. And I'd like to be able to just sometimes, most times if possible, be able to just do it for free in a way, you know, do it as part of a centre, do it as part of a altruistic thing where we can just reach out to people and share our gift, and there's no money involved changing hands, you know. And that's why I think if we can get a centre together, we can invite people in, not just one or two like we have round the table here, or come as a guest, but where we can do a group demonstrations of proofs of life after death. That's one of the most important things for me. Jane and I now do our public work as mediums for free. All the profit from our work on stage goes to fund the foundation.
Something to do with fish and chips? Does that make sense?
Yeah. If I was still here, I'd clip him round the ear. Would you understand that? All right. Okay. I feel he's bringing you flowers from the spirit world, because I feel that very much you sense him at times, because I'm getting out of breath as he's coming through. Would you understand that? Very breathless.
And so it's a beautiful place, and it's not all about money. It's not all about like some of these spiritual people, right, you want to watch me demonstrate, that's £750, not like that. And if people give donations and things like that, it's to help the less fortunate people, could be homeless people, because we really don't know what these people have gone through. They could have been through a divorce, all kinds of things. They could have been sexually abused, or they could have been suicidal. So it's a door open for everybody, every class, every nation.
My search takes me thousands of miles across India's breathtaking landscapes, and I see magnificent things. To clear my karma, the Oracle has told me to do charitable work. I feel blessed to have this opportunity to serve. This is a humbling experience and reminds me of how lucky some of us are. The service is part of the magical rituals and the karmic remedies. I'm no stranger to the unusual with my paranormal work back home, but this is by far one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. I also see it as something too that brings a common denominator to all spiritual things, because I mean we have so many religions in the world and so much diversity in the world at the moment, that I think we need to kind of find a common denominator. And I think spirituality, when you think about it, is the common denominator. Because although we have many different religions which appeal to different mindsets and appeal to different cultures, and we have and have been set up by different spiritual leaders and so forth, I'd like to think we can find a common spirituality, a simple type of spirituality, really, which we can access through certain techniques like meditation, through things like yoga, although not saying that yoga has to become have a religious element to it even, something that acts as bringing kind of unity and diversity. Do you feel the same as that,
I do,
Jane?
and it'd be nice, because Craig's interested in hiking, walking, and perhaps there might be some guys there or some women that'd be interested doing walks, going through nature. I think that's part of spirituality. And then it's like groups coming together and sharing.
And I also think the locations would be interesting, because the predictions we've been given is that we could open these places, multiple ones of these places, and I know we've got people very interested in wanting to help us with this. But my thoughts are that, you know, why limit ourselves even to one? If we can set a model up that can work. I mean, I can see that obviously these places can be in beautiful settings, and we do have some plans for one that we're going to set up as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. But if supposing you even set these things up right in city centres, and places where where the city centre is becoming empty, cheap properties, and maybe set multiple ones up that could become like meditation drop-in centres perhaps, places that could be not just run by me and Jane, but have a whole group of people opening up places where we can start to spread the light, as it were, the light of awakening, the light of hope, the light of understanding our common humanity, all these type of things coming out in different forms with different speakers and different people's idea, but under the basic guise of unity within diversity, the common thing that's in all religions, the common themes of love, of light, of truth, those type of things, and bring them together in multiple centres, maybe not just in the UK but around the world.
Most of my life I have been in a wheelchair myself, although at the moment I have a very good period of life quality, but I still have many relapses. And the Hamilton Parker Foundation creates for me a space to be creative, and they work around my limitations, and that is a very positive concept of their foundation. Also, I help the foundation to spread messages of tolerance and acceptance of everybody's differences, that makes our world a very colourful place.
I'm Jose, and I have a background in the building industry. I've worked most of my professional career as a builder, and I put that to good use in the Hamilton Parker Foundation. I've helped build this screen, this background, and I always look for the cheapest alternative but safe as well. And you know, we try to be careful with spending the money, because it's not our money to spend, and hopefully it's going to go towards a good cause at the end of the day. And so that's what I do. I inspire people to take up meditation, and I like to have debates on the internet about all kinds of things like reincarnation, spiritual enlightenment, and all the various types of meditation you can take up to that final ultimate goal of enlightenment.
Yes, and my idea is to have certain very highly spiritual people that will come into these centres, and it'd be like nothing's been done before, and it'd be quite unique, quite beautiful, and like Craig says, it'd be done on, I would want to do it on a high spec, so it's really lovely that people have something to look forward to, not necessarily going to a church where they've got paintings of pussycats on the wall and fairy lights.
Yeah.
Craig.
Yeah, we want to get away from that sort of mentality.
You know, and sort of all put together with like what I call bubblegum huts.
Yeah, hardboard and tombolas.
Yeah. So it'd be a beautiful place that one can recharge their batteries, and you don't have to be any particular religion. The religion I believe in is love all, serve all.
We now want to extend what we are doing to open these ideas to a broader world. We aim to have a spiritual centre that can be a permanent focal point for this spiritual work. If we had a dedicated place, we could open the doors to more people. We could demonstrate our mediumship in a hall area and generate even more funds. We could also run spiritual events and festivals that bring together people of all faiths. We hope to have enough space to attract other spiritual thinkers and to have an audience and participants who can join together to promote our common humanity and oneness of spirit. And of course, we will film it all so that people worldwide are inspired towards better values.
Yeah, and we've already got a number of people that have expressed an interest in trying to help us. And if those people can start, if you start getting inspired by the shows that you watch every week here and start thinking a bit bigger picture, we can do something between us. It's not about me and Jane. It's about all of us. It's about all of us in these really dark times, when we've got crazy things going on in Ukraine, we got crazy things going on in China and Taiwan, we got crazy things in our country here in the UK, with all around the place, everywhere. We've got all sorts of things that are pulling people apart. Now, how do we conquer that? How do we deal with it? The way we handle it really has to be by coming together spiritually. The only thing that's going to solve the problems of this world is spirituality. If you go to places here in Winchester, you see the opening titles to this show. You see that beautiful church of Winchester. That was built by medieval hands, by people that had next to nothing. The other day, Jane and I went to Avebury Ring. That was a huge, great spiritual complex, which was done by people using antlers as digging tools to make all that happen. Huge human endeavour. So it just shows what can happen when you inspire people. When people are inspired, we can achieve incredible things.